So then when did you discern your calling to become an Earthling Sister?
Well, I remember that it was sometime in grade school. Well, I was in the choir there in grade school. And I can just, to this day, see myself. I was kneeling at the railing. We had the choir loft. We were in a choir loft. And there was a wedding. And I guess we were, I don't know if we were singing part of the wedding or something. I just remember being up there. And I remember saying to myself, I will never walk down that aisle as a bride. I'm going to be a sister. That's the only time I remember thinking about it. Don't remember ever even thinking about it again until the last part of my senior year. And at that time I was going steady, the terms in those days, with a young man. And, we were pretty serious, talking about marriage, etc. And this was in the back of my mind, so God won out.
You had to tell him.
Yes, and that was very difficult. In fact, I couldn't tell him. I kept saying I had something to tell you, and I couldn't get it out. And he finally guessed it. And he wanted to keep dating, and so we did. We dated till the day I entered. Of course, during that time, as the relationship got more serious, then I was more confused. So we both together went to see a priest and talked about the situation, and the priest encouraged me to just wait a year and for us to continue dating, see what would happen. But I knew that if I did that, then I would never go. Something inside, I guess there's a spirit inside of me, just said I had to try. I didn't know if this was for me, but I knew I had to go try and see. And if it didn't work, then I was coming out.
So what year was it that you entered?
I entered right after high school. It was 1964. I was almost 19 years old.
Okay. What was it like when you entered? What was the process of your formation?
Well, in those days, it was around the Vatican II time or pre-Vatican II. I guess it was in the Vatican II area. It was very strict. There were a lot of rules. It was strict according to, what I had lived. Just an example was on Saturdays we could not eat any fresh fruit. There were some of my friends I'd been there 3 weeks, and some of my friends came to see me, and they would not let me see them because they said, I guess they told them I hadn't been there long enough or something. And that was difficult because they never came back. So that was I found that really hard. Advent and Lent, we were not allowed to write any letters to our families or anything, but I didn't understand that because they could write us, but we couldn't write them. So really the sacrifice was for them, because on Sundays we got the letters if they came, during the week. But our parents and our family did not hear from us throughout the Advent season and the Lenten season. So I thought the sacrifice was backwards.
During ordinary time, were you allowed to write as often as you wanted, or was there a limit on that?
We were allowed to write. I don't remember if it was how often it was, but our letters were always susceptible to being read by the director. So we could never seal it, and we had to turn them in to her. So sometimes I used code language. If I wanted to talk about something that I didn't want her to know. So we had silent at meals. We had reading during all the meals, so we didn't talk at any of the meals.
What were your readings? Were they of St. Angela's or from the Gospel?
Well, we had the Rule of St. Augustine.
Okay.
Was one, and then they would choose a book, and someone would be all during the meal. Mm-hmm.